Great question, and I just wanted to say thank you for being so patient with me. I was in the hospital for a week and a day this time. What ended up happening was that I developed a infection after my first two emergency surgeries, and I had an abscess in my surgery site, and they put me on antibiotics to treat that infection, and the antibiotic they put me on is highly not recommended for the people with the autoimmune disease that I have. So my kidneys pretty much shut down. So I am a lot better. I am not 100%. It is going to take weeks at minimum for my kidneys to get better. But, you know, they can't keep me in the hospital that whole time. And they may never get better, but I really appreciate the patience. It took me a couple days after I got home. Like I said, I still feel like I'm dying every day, so I really appreciate the patience. So the Neva Masquerade coat tends to be a couple things that I don't like. And I can really appreciate a Neva when it has the correct coat texture, which is hard because the color can affect the texture, and a lot of times the length is too long. They have more of a Persian length than the Siberian length that they should have, and that's another issue I have with them. And like I said, color does affect the texture of coats, and that can make it harder to maintain for the owners. And that's not even just with Siberians. A dilution coat, a color point can be more difficult, and typically is more difficult than a brown tabby. And if you look through my litters over the years, you see a lot of brown, and there's a reason for that. It's because I am a cat groomer for a living, and I just don't really want to propagate, you know, kittens that are going to be really hard for people to maintain. A lot of Siberian owners are first-time cat owners, and they're just kind of completely in the dark about cats in general. So I'm not really going to do anything that's going to make their lives even harder. You know, most Siberian owners are allergic to cats, and they just come into this like, I love cats, but I don't know that much about them. So that's my issue with the Nevas, is they shed like nobody's business. I mean, we're already talking about a triple coated breed, and so even the traditionals can really give you a run for your money. But the Nevas, because that coat texture and the density and the length of their coat, they are just super hard to maintain. And that's even for me. I have a couple Neva Masquerade that I groom at work, and they give me a run for my money. Like, I really don't look forward to when some of them come in, because I know I'm gonna be hurting. I know my wrist is just gonna be killing me from brushing on them, trying to get any matting out. I know that I'm probably gonna give them a little fake tunnel belly so I don't have to demat their whole underbelly. It makes it a little easier for the owner to maintain. But yeah, that's my biggest thing with the Nevas. And on top of that, like, there's so many Neva breeders that they don't care about breeding for the correct coat texture length. They get into it because it's kind of a fad color right now. So many people enjoy the color point colors, and there's nothing wrong with that. They're beautiful cats. My thing is the maintenance on them. And so they get into them because they're like, oh, we can sell these cats really easily because people are really wanting these colors. And that's just, to me, not the right reason to breed a Neva Masquerade. If I were to ever get into Nevas, it would be because I want to breed cats that have that correct coat texture and length and density. I would want to try to fix what I see in Nevas that I don't like if I were to ever breed Neva, which I don't suspect I ever will. Like I said, it's just, with me, I'm all about trying to make sure that my kittens don't have any kind of thing that can make their life harder. And if I can just not breed them in a color, and that can significantly like decrease their chance of coming to a groomer pelted, then I'm probably going to do that. That being said, I do have dilutions, and they tend to be harder to maintain, especially when you spay them. Rusalka, it used to be really pretty simple to maintain, and then when I spayed her, she just had coat for days. And you know, not everything is just a rule. Like, certain lines have more coat than others. Skaska has more coat than anyone in my house, and she's a brown mackerel tabby. And I'm curious to see what happens with her coat after she gets spayed. But you know, it's just things that I think people need to keep in mind, is that the color of the cat does change the texture and can make it more difficult to maintain those cats and keep them from getting matted. But I do love Nevas. I appreciate them. I leave it to my friends that breed Nevas to produce Nevas. But if you're going into, if you really like Nevas, you want a Neva, just anticipate that you may have higher grooming needs than you would if you were to get like a brown tabby. And like I said, that's all cats. That's not just, oh, because it's a Siberian. It's just the fact that they are a triple coated breed, that it can make it even more hard to maintain. But I'm happy to answer any other questions you may have about color or Nevas. I mean, I don't breed Nevas, so I only try to talk about what I know. And I clearly am biased because I breed traditional, but that's why I have the opinions that I have. Is the biggest thing is I am a cat groomer, and I do this for a living, and I see firsthand how difficult it is for people to maintain these coats.